Gorilla imagined the dream. Wake up late, sip something warm, write a little code, collect a lot of money, no rent, no trucks, no spoiled inventory, no customers yelling in his shop. Just clean, invisible, weightless income. Gorilla pictured himself lying in a hammock while his app quietly printed money in the background. A machine that never got tired, never complained, never needed a lunch break. He even practiced his successful founder pose in the mirror. Arms crossed, chin slightly up, very serious eyebrows. He imagined investors calling him. He imagined magazine covers. He imagined a future where gorilla was a verb, as in just gorilla it. "This is it," Gorilla whispered. "I finally found the business with no problems." Somewhere, very far away, the universe made a note of that sentence. The first client arrived. Nice, friendly, reasonable, Gorilla thought. The client wanted an app. Simple, they said. Just like Instagram, they said. But better, they said. And maybe with a bit of Uber, they said. Oh, and TikTok too, but smaller, like a start. Gorilla smiled the exact smile people wear right before their soul quietly leaves the building. He quoted a price. The client agreed instantly, which, Gorilla would later learn, is the first warning sign in the entire known universe. Right up there with a scorpion saying, "I'm friendly." Work began. For exactly 4 days, everything was peaceful. Gorilla typed. Gorilla sipped his warm drink. Gorilla felt like a genius. Then came the calls. "Quick call, 5 minutes," the client said. The quick call lasted 53 minutes and produced 0 decisions, 3 new ideas, and 1 moment where the client asked, completely seriously, if the app could also kind of function like a bank. Gorilla nodded on camera. Gorilla screamed internally. Then came the sentence. The sentence every software owner fears more than taxes, more than audits, more than a server room fire. Can you just add 1 small feature? Gorilla said yes. Because how hard could 1 small feature be? The feature grew, and grew, and grew. By week 3, Gorilla was dragging the small feature, now the size of a boulder, now with its own moonlight gravitational pull, across the office floor, sweating, wheezing, wondering when exactly a tiny button had turned into a full identity crisis. Meanwhile, bills arrived, in a neat, punctual, terrifying little line. Servers wanted to be paid. Software tools wanted to be paid. The one developer Gorilla hired wanted to be paid, and wanted snacks apparently, which nobody had budgeted for. Everyone wanted to be paid except the client, who kept requesting 1 more small thing with the calm, sunny confidence of a man who had never once opened an invoice in his life. Gorilla reached for his bamboo, tried to eat it. Tasted like nothing, like sadness, like a printer running out of ink mid-sentence. Stress had turned bamboo into cardboard. Gorilla tried outsourcing. He posted the job online. 41 applicants replied within an hour. 11 of them named team of experts, none of them explaining who, exactly, was on this team or where. He picked one. The one delivered a file named final_v2_reallyfinal.zip. Gorilla opened it. It did not open. Nothing was final. Nothing was final ever again. Nights got strange. Gorilla lay in bed, eyes wide open, replaying a single bug from 2 p.m. like it was a crime scene he personally needed to solve before sunrise. He didn't sleep. He debugged in his mind. At 2 a.m., his laptop crashed. Gorilla didn't panic. Gorilla stood up, beat his chest like a war drum, not from strength, from helplessness. It was the only language his body had left, and honestly, it was cheaper than therapy. He opened LinkedIn. Big mistake. Other software houses were posting things like, "Just closed our 3rd 6-figure client. Blessed, grateful, grinding." Gorilla looked at his own dashboard. 1 client, paying late, asking for a tiny feature that now required its own team, its own weekly meeting, and possibly its own emotional support animal. Gorilla began comparing himself to gorillas he had never met, running companies he knew nothing about, using numbers he had absolutely no way of verifying. This is called modern anxiety. Gorilla called it Tuesday. He hired 2 developers to help. One ghosted him within a week, vanishing more completely than Gorilla's work-life balance. The other asked for a raise before finishing his first task, which is either extremely bold or extremely beautiful, depending entirely on your relationship with capitalism. Gorilla began speaking a new language. Not English, not Gorilla. Debugging language. A dialect made entirely of sighs, half-sentences, and the phrase, "It works on my machine." Somewhere around week 6, a single ant crawled slowly across Gorilla's desk. Gorilla watched it pass his coffee cup, pass his keyboard, pass an entire mountain of sticky notes labeled urgent, and disappear off the edge of the table, clearly living a calmer, more organized life than Gorilla was. By week 8, Gorilla had invented a new personal ritual. Every time the client messaged the words, "quick thing," Gorilla would close his eyes, take one long breath, and quietly beat his chest twice before opening the message. It was not efficient. It was not professional. But it was the only thing keeping him upright. Then, one quiet night, staring at a screen full of code nobody would ever see, Gorilla understood something. People don't see software. They see a button. They press it. It works. They move on with their lives, blissfully unaware. They never see the 3 sleepless nights behind that button. They never see the boulder-sized, small feature. They never see the chest beating at 2 a.m. or the ant that had a better commute than Gorilla. Software isn't invisible income. It's invisible labor, weightless to the customer, backbreaking to the builder. Gorilla laughed quietly. The tired kind of laugh. The kind that isn't really about anything funny at all. He looked at his screen. A tiny loading wheel spun in the corner. Round and round and round, just like Gorilla's mind for the past 3 months. He finally understood the hidden economics. The real cost of software isn't measured in dollars. It's measured in attention, patience, and the slow, quiet erosion of a person's ability to say no to one more small feature. Gorilla picked up his bamboo again, took a small bite. This time, barely, he could taste it. Not because the stress was gone, but because for 1 second he remembered why he started. Not for the hammock, not for the money falling from the sky, but because building something, even something invisible, means someone, somewhere, is quietly holding the whole thing together. Gorilla smiled, small, tired, real, and went back to work, because somewhere, right now, another client was typing, "Can you just add one small thing